Welcome back to LonelyMan BGs and this overview of War of the Ring. We'll get into the game in just a minute, but first we're going to have to let this beat drop. War of the Ring is a strategy board game for 2 to 4 players, but typically works better with just 2. In the 2-player game, players will take on the part of the Free Peoples, struggling against the immense armies of the Rising Shadow and the Dark Lord Sauron. The Shadow will attempt to reign in military dominance throughout Middle-earth by sending forth their tremendous armies. The Free Peoples, on the other hand, will lead an allegiance of elves, dwarves, and men in order to temporarily defend against the Blight of Mordor. Their goal is to allow time for the Ring Bearers to reach their final destination at Mount Doom in order to destroy the One Ring. Let's go over the components of the game. This is the game board. It is a view of Western Middle-earth at the end of the Third Age. The majority of the board is made up of a map of Middle-earth where armies will lay siege to one another. The Ring Bearer's journey begins in Rivendell. In a different overview video, we'll chronicle the start of the Hobbit's quest from the Shire to Rivendell in the game Hunt for the Ring. From Rivendell, the Ring Bearers will attempt to travel south and east, passing by the Mines of Moria, the Woodlands of Lorien, and the stronghold of Dol Guldur. Their final destination is Mordor, where they plan to toss the ring into the bubbling chasm of Mount Doom. Other notable landmarks are shown on the map, like the tower at Orthanc, the fortress at Helm's Deep, and the White City, Minas Tirith. On the top, bottom, and sides of the game board are places for other game materials. For example, the left side of the board shows strongholds where players will defend against enemy armies. Players will take turns using action dice throughout the game. Since the Shadow is a larger force, it will typically have more action dice to use. Players will be able to take character actions, army actions, muster actions, event actions, and special actions using these dice throughout the game. Let's go through a brief overview of what each are used for. Character actions can be summed up as anything to do with the Fellowship, leaders, or minions. This includes their movement, Fellowship separation, and even event cards. Army actions allow players to move armies and attack. The muster action allows changes in diplomacy against warring nations, as well as recruitment reinforcements. Using this action, the Shadow player may bring certain characters into play. The event action allows event cards to be drawn and played. The special action die is different for each player. This die gives the Shadow opportunities to hunt for the ring, while the Free People can use this as a wild or bring certain characters of import into play. Players will also have normal D6 dice that they will use to determine events and battles. Note, these colored dice are not used in the game, but are easily found on Amazon. As well as dice, players will put cards into play as well. These cards are known cumulatively as event cards. Each player will have 2 decks of cards. Character cards have a sword on their front, while strategy cards have that faction's flag on the front. Each player will also have a space on the board where they will place their event card decks. Each card will have a normal effect, which can cause certain events, act as items, allow players to recruit more units, and more. For example, the Athelis card effect allows the player an opportunity to heal corruption, a key factor in the victory of the game. All cards will also have a combat effect that all players can use during the game. For example, 1 for the Dark Lord allows a combat modifier of +1 on rolled dice in a specific situation. Let's get into the characters of the game. The Free Peoples have a host of companions, ranging from Gandalf the Grey to Gimli to Merry and Pippin. The Shadow only has a few minions, which include Saruman, the Witch King, and the Mouth of Sauron. Each character also has a corresponding character card. These cards give information on how each character works as the guide of the Fellowship, as well as other specific effects they may have during the game. These companions and minions act as leaders of armies as well, giving boosts to their military strength during times of need. Each player has access to large swaths of armies. The Shadow has units from Isengard and Mordor, along with the Southrons and Easterlings who join them. Their armies are endless and never run out of supply. The Free Peoples have men from the north from Gondor and Rohan, as well as some assistance from the elves and dwarves. Unlike the Shadow, if the Free Peoples lose a unit in battle, that unit is lost for the rest of the game. Let's take a look at victory conditions. First, players may win by military might. For the Shadow, if they are able to control Free Peoples' settlements to a cumulative 10 victory points, they win the game. For the Free Peoples, if they are able to control Shadow settlements worth 4 or more victory points, then Sauron is banished from Middle-earth. The Free Peoples may also lose the game through corruption of the Ring Bearers. If the Bearers take on 12 or more corruption points, they lose the game. Corruption points are accumulated throughout the game by deterring the effects of the hunting Nazgul and using the ring. If the Free Peoples are able to hold back the forces of Sauron and destroy the ring along the mortar track, then they win the game. And this concludes our overview of War of the Ring. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe below.